Hey everyone, welcome to Joy, Love, and Healing Podcast. I'm Jay Bradley. I'm so happy you're here and have a really special guest today, a very dear friend of mine, Melisa Rebronja. She's been somebody who's really helped me on my journey as a friend, number one, but I've also been pretty much seeing her weekly for hypnosis to, work on expanding and growing. And it's been really awesome. So I can't wait to dig in. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Melisa and then we'll get right to it. So Melisa Rebronja is a coach, hypnotherapist, and energy worker with over 20 years experience helping people heal, empower themselves to live authentically. She's traveled a long way to be where she is and who she is today, raised in a harsh family environment, born in a country eventually destroyed by war. In her private practice, she combines a few different modalities, including coaching, counseling, hypnotherapy, energy work, and more. She currently lives in Los Angeles, California, the traditional lands of Tongva. And for more information, you can find her at healyourheart.love. Hello, my dear friend, Melisa.
Thank you, Jay. Such a beautiful welcome. And I was just remembering our first hypnosis session that I helped you with was a while back. And I helped you get an audition or something. Remember we did a hypnosis for that?
Oh my goodness, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Melisa and I have been, we actually met in singing class. We had the same singing coach in Toronto. So
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we have so much to talk about, and you have so many gifts and so many talents and so many different modalities that you bring into your work.
Thank you.
I want to actually start with hypnosis. I just want to talk about that because I also studied hypnosis, and I was always the one who thought I just can't get hypnotized. Like, it just doesn't work for me.
Right.
So do you want to just talk about what hypnosis is and maybe answer that question? Like, can everybody be hypnotized?
Sure. It's a great question. And the interesting thing is I've been a coach for many years. And when I trained in hypnotherapy, I would get people interested because they always wanted to try hypnosis and they were sort of scared or they didn't know what it was, but they liked me. So they're like, oh, you did hypnosis? Let's do it. So to answer the question, yes, everyone can get hypnotized. What that means is we are just quieting your conscious mind and speaking directly to your subconscious mind. So for example, we are both singers. We met in singing class. If I just started singing to you, in some ways, that is a hypnosis. I'm hypnotizing you because you're just like surrendering to me and hearing me sing. So what we're doing with hypnotherapy is we are choosing your hypnosis. So whatever you want to shift, whatever you want to, hypnosis for healing, you want to heal. And it's better for some things than other things. So I've helped people quit smoking. I also trained as a smoking cessation specialist. So with hypnosis, you can also do past life regression. You can also do all kinds of things, really. But the main thing is that hypnosis bypasses your conscious mind, the critical faculty, and goes to your subconscious mind, which is actually running most of your habits and things that we do. So that's why it is a powerful modality to shift certain things.
Yeah, and I think you've been working a lot more around money and prosperity with people.
Well, I started that this year actually because I have a regular client. We normally do a hypnosis where he connects with his higher self to get answers. So he had asked me to do something around money. So we did, and then it worked, meaning like he had some money miracles.
Thank God.
Yeah, so he came back to me and said, I don't know what you did in that last session, but can we do that again? So it was just a reminder to me that hypnosis really can shift any area of our lives. So it can increase your prosperity and shift your money consciousness if you need help in that area. So yes, so I decided this year to just give it more of a focus, but it's not something I've really done for a while. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I have to say, because we've been working around that in our sessions.
Right.
And, I've been doing a lot of mindset work as well. But I have to say, there is zero negative thinking, stress, fight or flight around money for me.
That's amazing.
So,
Yeah.
like, I'm literally calm since our
Right?
sessions. There is nothing. There's no, that we all have that kind of trigger or something that
Right.
gets our adrenaline going. I don't have that. And as I'm talking to you, I'm just realizing, oh my God, I haven't had any of that. So I guess I can be hypnotized.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a
Yeah.
testament to you too. And I think, that's probably another thing is probably important to find somebody who you resonate with as well, I would
Yes.
assume.
And somebody you trust and somebody that you can relax with and your nervous
Right.
system feels safe to just relax and receive the messages that we're I don't want to say implanting, but just into your subconscious mind. Yeah. Whatever
I love
you
that.
ask for. So yeah.
Well, I think that's probably the missing link with affirmations, right? Would you agree? Like it's great to say them and to maybe read them, but if we're not receiving or believing, I would assume they're not as powerful.
They're probably more powerful working with the subconscious mind rather than the conscious mind. And it's funny, I'm currently in training for somatic attachment therapy. And my teacher in that class just mentioned that affirmations don't really work. But how she explained it is that if there's not a part in you that believes you're worthy, you're not going to receive that. But if there is a part in you that, even if it's a small part that believes that you're somewhat worthy, you will be more accepting of the affirmation. So, yeah.
Worthiness is the key. I was talking to some students about that today, right? It's really, I think that's the core and the key to everything is self-worth and just knowing our value.
Yeah, and this is a human struggle. It's not like we all have these tendencies. So when we understand that and we just show up with more compassion and acceptance, that's where the real change happens. So the thing about my work is I don't just use one modality. And even in the sessions that we've recently did with you around prosperity, it wasn't just hypnosis. It was some energy work and also, So it's a combination of that.
Well, you've been coaching for a long, long time, and that's what I love about you. You're like you're always a student, which I love and admire, because you're always learning and growing and expanding, which is wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you. And you're the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Which I like.
So I wanted to go back to your bio because I'm sure people are wondering, Tongva, Los Angeles is known as Tongva. Tell us about that.
So basically, last year I took a very interesting certification in eco-psychology, and it was really eye-opening. And a lot of it was about honoring the land that we live on and just really being authentic and starting from acknowledging that we are, the harsh way of looking at it would be that we are settlers living on stolen land. So part of us becoming more conscious and aware around our environment is to find out what the traditional territories are that we live on and the people that live on that land. So in a lot of the these programs, you're expected to know that. So I decided to include that now with my bio because, yes, Los Angeles is traditional lands of Tongva and a few more. There's also Shumash. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing them right, but yeah. So if we live in North America, we're living on Turtle Island, which basically is native land. So just acknowledging that is part of decolonizing and just making things right. Because as we know, there's a lot of history there. And
having gratitude and appreciation, right, for where we came from.
Yeah. And, I myself come from former Yugoslavia. I was raised in Canada. So in some ways, I left this not stolen land, but this land of like war, somewhat stolen, I guess, because they keep fighting. There's even a word called balkanization from where I come from. Every 50 years, there's war. So I left that chaos in a sense, came to North America first in Canada, looking for like a sanctuary. And then now realizing that North America has its own history of its land and really it's the world, right? Coming to terms with all the changes that happen and just how to make things right and balancing them out. Yeah.
Well, I know you, so I have an inside scoop, but would you say part of your work is, comes from, well, where you're born and sort of the harshness of
Yes.
that and learning to soften within yourself and learning to help others to be, the term that you always have used with me and it sticks with me today is be gentle with yourself, which is kind of the opposite of where you were brought up. So I guess you would agree where we're from, like it's a huge blessing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember watching the news as a teenager in former Yugoslavia and just watching all these boys at the time that were my age dying in the 90s war. And I remember not feeling at all and actually like being frozen in shock. And then later, maybe a decade later, when I started my own healing journey, I had my first breathwork session. I know that you're a breath worker and just
know a little bit about that.
Yeah. And that was my first experience of getting unfrozen through breath work. And it just really shocked me. I didn't even know that I was holding on to all this emotion.
Yeah.
And there was like an opening. So, yeah.
Well, you often work with trauma. I mean, trauma is a word that's used a lot, but I think maybe people don't realize is trauma could be something also rather small that happened that we're holding in your body. But in your case, I mean, that is a big trauma watching somebody die.
Yeah. So trauma is basically an event that happened in the past that then your body has a memory of, and then your nervous system may struggle to be in the present moment because it hasn't recovered that past event. And none of us know what events, how our nervous system will be affected, for sure. So, and and there's different types of trauma. And yeah, in my life, I have war trauma, which is that my life was affected by war. And so, my parents and grandparents and all that kind of stuff. So, which a lot of us do have, but I guess just having a real experience in real time is kind of shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. And on that note, you talk a lot about the energy body.
Yes.
In your work and also chakras, which I love to talk about as well. So I don't know, can you talk about how your work ties in with that and maybe how trauma can be stored in those areas?
Yeah, so basically, I've spent many years being a coach, and about 6 years ago when I trained as a hypnotherapist, at the same time I was studying our energy body. I discovered Cindy Dale's books. She's considered basically like the chakra queen, and she has amazing books on the subtle body and chakras and all that stuff. So I learned that our energy body, and we start with the 7 main chakras within the body, and yes, trauma mostly is held in the 2nd chakra, which is the sacral. So learning to heal not only with coaching and talk therapy, but really with energy work, I've seen it actually, the benefits with my own clients. What I found interesting is, so we all have different gifts. Like some people can use their hands to feel people's energy centers. For me, I actually use a tool, which is a pendulum. So I will literally hold a pendulum on top of the energy center and see its movement. So what I found fascinating is that I would, when a client would show up, I would, it's like taking a picture of your energy centers, and I would see, okay, well, usually there's a few that are blocked or going the opposite way, and there's a few that are open. So then by the end of the session, I would make sure that they leave with all the chakras open. And I found that a hypnosis session will just open all the chakras.
Oh,
yeah.
Just automatically.
Energy, right. Yeah, it just will, because working with the subconscious mind, it just opens the energy. And then if there's a stubborn energy center, then I will just give it extra attention. And sometimes it will be Reiki, like just giving it energy, and then it will open.
I love that. I find the same with breath work, automatically just opens and aligns and balances those energy points.
Yeah. And, I never thought of testing that to check the energy centers before breathwork session and after, but I can imagine that it opens it up as well.
Well, I'm sure people listening to this already have an awareness and an interest in, alternative healing and stuff. But I don't know. To me, it's almost very practical. The chakras and the energy system. I mean, in quantum physics, we say everything is energy, and why would our body be any different? And it's just relatively easy to get blocked, but it's also just as easy with some discipline to kind of unblock and open, right?
Yeah, it's part of like looking at ourselves in a deeper way, and also in the realm of the unseen. Cindy Dale calls it the subtle body, which is like the unseen body, because we're not just these physical beings. And I think more and more people are now embracing that there's also the unseen of us, which is the energy centers within us, among other things. Yeah. Our auras and all that stuff. Yeah.
So when people work with you, I assume they do numerous sessions preferably. And is it like you just peel back the layers and kind of get to the core?
I like to, yes. I mean, when it comes to helping somebody quit smoking, that is one session. But really, I like to go on a deeper journey with people. So I do have a package of 3 sessions to begin with, so that we can get to know each other and we can work on a few issues together. And by then we can decide to work longer term. So I may start like weekly sessions and then switch to bi-weekly sessions where we continue our work and just going deeper. And it's an intuitive journey. So together, our higher selves together kind of coordinate which modalities and where the work goes. It's like we just show up, and I show up with all my skills and everything that I am.
I just have to go back to that. I mean, that's kind of fascinating. One session, if somebody's been smoking for years and years and years, one session can be enough to snap them out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fascinating. Does somebody have to want to quit smoking when they come to you?
Definitely. That's important. So if, and we address that, because if somebody is coming in because somebody else told them to, and they actually don't want, it's going to affect the hypnosis. Yes.
Well, my wife sent me in.
She
wants me to quit.
It's like, you don't seem like you want to be here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I love that. Anything else you want to share about your knowledge or your work?
Well, I'm now taking a training called a somatic attachment therapy, and it's just really nice to dive deeper into the body embodiment and just really being gentle and tapping into those sensations in our body. I feel that prior to this, where I am today, I didn't have the patience to slow down that much for myself. So I'm really, I'm really seeing the benefits of that slowing down, really, and slowing down and just being with what is, but with your body, and that how our bodies are basically a tool that shows us what just needs tending to. So I'm excited to bring that piece into my work with clients as well.
Yeah, I love that. I talk about that a lot here as well around the body, just knowing so deeply our truth, and, the body keeps a score. We've all heard of that book.
Yes, all that stuff. And it's a big element in trauma healing. It has to be through the body. There's no sort of quick fixes. It's basically just showing up for those experiencing and sensations in the body, and building our resilience and expanding our capacity to hold all that we've experienced through that trauma. So it's just, so what I like about it is that you mentioned, you say that phrase, be gentle with yourself, but now this is a deeper level of gentleness with yourself. So not just words. So I'm just like, oh, wow. And so I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
That feels so good. Those words have always comforted me. So thank you for that. And I guess I have a question before we go into the last few questions around permanent changes. Mm-hmm. Because I know a lot of people have tried many things, and, it works for a while and then they get disappointed and they fall into old patterns. But do you believe that permanent change is possible?
So if I think of helping somebody quit smoking, I would say in that case, yes, but they could decide to go back, and that's something that they're in control of. With what I'm studying now and realizing is that the word permanence is a bit, not to say violent, but just very like demanding of change. What I'm learning is that it's really about being with what is, with curiosity, gentleness, loving presence. And then that in itself, surprisingly, will bring change.
Yes.
Right? So it's just a very gentleness and slowing down and accepting, because the gentler we are with ourselves and showing up to parts of ourselves, like I can be impatient with myself, that will reflect on my impatience with other people. So it's really just accepting that there's a part of me that is sometimes impatient, and that's okay. Can I show up for that part and get curious, and also try to find out what the impatience feels and what its perspective is, and me just holding space.
I love that. So it's almost like identifying that it's within you, but that you are not it.
Yes.
Like it's a piece of you. And I found the same thing. It's an irony, right? When you love and start to embrace all aspects, then suddenly it can dissipate.
Totally. And the biggest lesson really is that we are not everything. So say like the difference between me saying I am sad, because that means all of Melisa is sad, rather than something in me is feeling sad right now, or a part of me is sad.
Yeah.
Because that's the actual truth, because it's not everything. I'm not all sad. So changing the language around how we express ourselves in itself, I find healing.
Very, very, very good. Yeah. I know for many people, and myself included, I would, in the beginning, always try to push things away, right? So whether we're talking about money, you're like, let's not look at it. Let's push away the debt. Let's pretend I don't have it. Versus, okay, wow, I can really love and accept myself in this place, love and accept all parts of this. And then it doesn't have as much energy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Showing up with loving awareness, loving presence. And yeah, exactly.
Well, I have you to thank for that.
Thank you. Thank you for being open and on this journey with me for many years.
Many years. We won't say how many. Many years.
Many years, yeah.
So I have a few questions for you. And the first one is, what brings you the most joy in your life?
What brings me the most joy in my life these days, I will have to say my dog Bentley. He's a 3-year-old whippet. He really does bring me a lot of joy. And I never thought that I could love the way that I love him. It's really something, yeah.
And your husband knows that?
Yes, he does, yeah. In fact, like he has, we have 2 whippets. So I met him with, he already had a whippet in his life. And then
Caprice.
a few years, yes, yeah. So just the unconditional love and the connection that I can have with him, it brings me a lot of joy.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And you'll like this question. What do you love most about yourself?
How much time do we have now?
Yeah.
I like that I am brave. I feel like it's been I will try new things. I will just kind of go into experiencing things, even though they feel scary. So feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. And my final question is, what is your definition of healing?
Great question. I think now my definition, like in this moment today, my definition of healing is gentle acceptance of all that was and all that is. And it's an ongoing process. So it's not like a final thing. I think it's just moments of gentleness with yourself, your journey, your past, your body, any responses. Yeah. And it's an ongoing process. So it's
Beautiful.
moments.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
So tell me, if people want to work with you, want to learn more about you, can you let them know where they can find you?
Yeah, they can go to my website, which is healyourheart.love, and they can email me from there. And I'm also on Instagram, healyourheart.love. They can direct message me there, and on Facebook as Melisa Rebronja, CHT, healyourheart.love as well.
I love that. Well, thank you, my friend. It's been so awesome chatting with you, and I appreciate all of your wisdom and knowledge.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on your new podcast, and I love the name.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Three of my favorite words.
Yeah.